I'm going to do damping.
That's kind of like...
And the reason I picked this bike is the damping was a little bit sloppy. Not bad, it can be brought in. Some bikes are really, really bad. But this was just enough that he should feel a real big difference. All right, so what are we doing with damping? What I'm going to do is this is where setting up suspension is not a science. It's kind of an art. And the reason for that is everybody has their own opinion of what it should be. This is my interpretation of that. So, but hopefully with the knowledge you get today, you'll be able to do it, and you'll be able to change things as you see fit, and then you'll be able to adjust it. Okay, I'm going to check the rebound damping first. And the way you check that, you put the brake on, you bounce the bike, and you see how the bike went down and came back up. Went down, came back up, and went down again. We don't want that. We want this bike to go all the way down, come back up, and stop. All right, so we need more damping because this thing has not enough damping. So this is the damping screw right here, these two tops. So we're going to give it a quarter of a turn because this is a Honda.
Is that good or bad?
Actually, how is good stuff? I embarrassed a lot of people on my 17-year-old bike on track. But then again, I got spanked pretty good with the newer stuff, so it comes to those. Alright, now, you really want to put the screw in all the way in and bring it all the way out and count the turns. Because what's happening is, everybody don't know the history of this bike. For all I know, some kid came along and started messing around with the adjusters, and you really don't know where this adjuster is in comparison to this one. So I'm going to take this guy, and see he has a nice little button there. So this is half a turn, 1 turn, and about 1 1/4. Quarter, half, 1. Same thing here. Okay, I just moved off a little bit. This will be 1 turn. What did I say the other one? 1 1/4? Yeah. Oh, this was off by half a turn. 1 1/4. All right. Now, let's see if it did anything good. Let's see if it made a big change. Quarter of a turn is, believe it or not, is a rough change. Made a difference. Right? You see that? It made a difference. Now I'm going to go another quarter of a turn. Quarter of a turn.
I get the home.
See how much slower it is? So just a little more. Yes, and that's what it's going to feel like. I'm just going to go about 1/8 of a turn right here. There it is. That's what you want. Of course, if I push it down harder, a little bit one time or the other, it's going to change. But, because you push it hard, like I said, it's more like a feel thing. I'm sure that the suspension people have all kinds of neat little toys that can measure, how much force you put in and speed and how much it comes back up. The problem is I don't have that capability, so this is all I can do. Now, we took care of one component of this bike, or two actually. I did the spring preload for his size and height. Now, if you would sit on it, it'll make a big difference because you are a little more robust than this guy is. And it's all weight dependent. So the heavier guy is going to need more. It's going to need more preload. Eventually, you're going to run out of preload. In that case, you have to buy a stiffer spring and change it out. It's not that hard to do, but it's about $100 with a spring. But that's what you might have to do, or change the oil level.
Is that different depending on the size of the bike? From a 600 to a 1000, is the preloads different? Bigger bike?
Well, the trouble is that the 1000 is almost way less than some of the 600s.
No, yeah. Well,
it's not the size of the motor really, it's the weight of the bike.
Well,
and
what I was getting at is a bigger guy should be on a bigger bike?
No, you can't. That used to be the case because the bigger bike would be bigger. But these days the 1000s are no bigger than a 600.
They're all made for little 100-pound Japanese men.
That's right. They can tuck in behind this little thing here. They're not made for the US guys. So you can't use that anymore. you really have to go, but how does the bike fit you and everything else? And this thing puts out more power than anybody could ever hope to use. You know, I mean, we all go out to 27 and whack it wide open and hang on, but the real test comes in as to how fast you're going to go into a turn. And that's where the suspension comes into play. And 600, man, let me tell you, there's very few people that can use a 600 to its limits. I know I can, and the one that I used was 17 years old. And I was going to turn 2 at the track, and I didn't have enough nerve to have it wide open. Even though every time I went through there, I gotta have it wide open. No, I just couldn't do it. So
85 horsepower.
Yeah, 86, I think. All right, now we're gonna adjust the compression. You got the screwdriver, right? Okay, see down there? Give me a quarter turn on that red button right there. In. Okay, and then go to the other side and give me the same amount on the other side.
Have a quarter turn in?
Yeah, okay, you owe me $20. I told you I could get him on his knees.
Let me know if anybody's sneaking up behind me.
Okay, now, what you're doing there is you're slowing down how fast the thing goes down. Alright. Feels tighter. I would leave it at this point. Some bikes might need more, some bikes need less. Once again, if you know what to do, then you say, well, you know, that's good, man. Yeah, you don't know what to do. Let me do this, which is fine, because it's your preference, it's not mine. But you will notice a big difference in your bike. It's a huge difference. As everybody who ever had the suspension, see now this one over here, it's coming up a little bit too fast. I have to find out where the adjuster is on this bike because they're all different. And this side. Alright, what I'm going to do? Yeah, here it is. See that S and H, soft and hard? So what you do is I want to give it a little bit of a turn. Okay, now that was rebound. And compression, here it is. Compression, I'm gonna do a little more because it felt a little bit soft. And then we'll try it. While I'm down here,
Someone needs their chain adjusted.
you see this? This is bad. I will give him points that it's lubed. That's nice. But this is crap. Okay, why is this?
Minus rev.
Minus rev. Okay, the reason this is bad is because your chain does play an effect on the suspension factor. If your chain is overly loose, what it's going to do is when you get on the throttle, you're going to get a lag, and it's going to snatch the chain, and it's going to do some weird things. If it's too tight, it's even worse because then it's actually going to bind up your suspension and going up and down. It's because the tightest spot in a chain is when the sprocket, the swing arm, and the rear axle are all in one line. That's when the chain is the tightest. So you have to keep that in mind when you're adjusting the chain. On some bikes, having a chain this loose is perfectly okay because when you sit on the bike, it's going to get tight. Long travel bikes do that. This is not a long travel bike. But that's a very easy fix, and that's something you should keep in mind. Also, a loose chain will wear out much quicker. But it's constantly banging and it's stretching and it's taking that shock. So you really don't want, you want to keep on top of your chain adjustment.